Okay, welcome to 2020 International Conference on Mining Software Repositories. My name is Sang Kim, and I'm a general chair.
Hi, I'm Sarah Nadi from the University of Alberta, and I'm the 2020 program co-chair.
And I'm Georgios Gousios from the Dutch University of Technology, and I'm the 2020 program co-chair.
So 2020 would not have been possible without our great organizing team. We want to thank each and every one of them, especially since we went virtual and a lot of our organizing members went above and beyond what their normal duties were. So thank you, everybody.
And with 2020, we had a very large PC. It consisted of 105 people. In addition, we had quite a few people also joining the other various program committees that we had. So in total, we had 150 reviewers. So thank you all for your hard work in making the program happen.
We would like to, of course, thank all our sponsors. So ACM, SIGSOFT, the Korean Institute of Information Scientists and Engineers, the Technical Council on Software Engineering, and the IEEE Computer Society.
Finally, final round of thank you to all the registered participants. We have 269 registered participants, which is slightly less than last year. But as we can see, the geographic coverage is pretty good. Most people come from the US or Canada. That's pretty normal for MSR. But we see various countries, even Saudi Arabia, for example. We have someone from this country joining for the first time.
And of course, in addition to all our registered participants, there are also other participants joining us from YouTube. So I think this year MSR might be even much bigger with people from places who are joining for the first time. So this is great. In terms of our technical track statistics, so we had 231 abstracts submitted, which turned into 178 final submissions. Out of those, we had 7 desk rejects. So those had any violations. So those were already desk rejected without going under review. This resulted in 144 full papers and 34 short papers that went through our reviewing process. And in the end, we had 45 full papers accepted and 4 short papers accepted. All papers were reviewed by at least 3 reviewers. This year, we additionally added the leading reviewer, where there's actually a 4th reviewer who moderated the discussion and wrote a meta review in the end. So each paper, whether accepted or rejected, got a meta review. In terms of just overall acceptance rates, for research papers, we had a 26% acceptance rate, tool papers, 50%, and practice paper 25%. And these are basically technical track categories. So we categorize papers according to what their focus was.
In terms of evolution, the MSR conference is continuously growing. We knew that from last year, this year we had a record number of submissions, 163 for the technical track. In terms of acceptance rate, we are more or less the same as last year for full papers. We are slightly worse in terms of acceptance rate for short papers. So it's apparently harder to get a short paper accepted at MSR than at ICSI.
So for our data showcase track, basically these are short papers describing data sets. And these are data sets curated by the authors, made available to others such that we can have better data to mine and improve the kind of work we do at MSR. So these are really valuable additions to the community, and they're distributed usually in an easy to understand and easy to process format.
We did, in total, we had 19 papers accepted. We did the short categorization of those according to the categories that were introduced last year in a publication at MSR 2019 by Cotin Spinellis. 7 of the submissions were about repository data and metadata. We had quite a few submissions about bugs and defect data sets, and several other papers in various other categories. For example, human-centered data, we had 2 data sets on IRC, on developer communication logs, and so on.
So we also had the typical customary mining challenge this year. So what the mining challenge is some authors present a data set that they want others to perform studies on. So usually these, for a couple of years now, these are proposed and then we select one of them. So this year's mining challenge was the software heritage data set. This is a massive software heritage and evolution archival site. They have a graph of all the repositories and all their evolution, and that can be accessed and mined and analyzed for various types of traits and software processes and changes. So the topics that came out of the accepted papers, so things like cross-project forks, which now, like given this data set, you can actually mine or like find forks and copies across different software hosting websites, so not only on GitHub, for example, survival analysis of Python projects, and security awareness of the ecosystems.
We also have, same as last year, an education track. What the education track is about is giving tutorials that are of wider readers to the MSR community. This year we have two tutorials. The first one given by Jesus González Barona from the Universidad Rey Juan Carlos in Madrid. And it is about mining software repositories while respecting privacy and GDPR. The second tutorial is given by Fabio Palomba from the University of Salerno in Italy. And it is about mutation testing and software analytics.
So this year, a new track we added is the registered reports track. So the idea of the registered reports track is that you submit a study plan, get feedback, and register this idea. So this avoids things like executing a full study only to get negative results and then finding difficulty publishing it, even though all your methods were correct. So this removes that kind of problem. And also that perhaps you cannot go back and redo an interview study if you had one mishap in the design. So this removes all this, you get your design reviewed, and then if everything goes well, then you can actually execute it as you described and submit this to the Empirical Software Engineering Journal, IMSI, and then that gets a review for the fully executed work, and regardless of the results, if you follow the methods, then you have a better chance at acceptance.
This year MSR is fully virtual, as you know. So in order to introduce in order to increase actually our interaction and also to get communities of interested people around, we decided to introduce Ask Me Anything sessions. Those are basically a variant of what we were doing for the last couple of years. Plenary sessions at MSR where everybody could actually express their opinion. This year they're just a bit more focused. So we have a plenary session, an Ask Me Anything session on software engineering for machine learning, where we invited people from the academia. So Christian Kastner and Foods and Miriam Kim are from the academia, and Mohammed Gaze is from the industry. They're going to be talking about software engineering for machine learning. We have a similar one from DevOps. Laurie Williams is from the academia. Ako Bakir and Hiram Wright is from the industry. And then we have a third one tomorrow. It's about machine learning for software engineering, where we have people again from the academia and the industry that will be talking about how to apply machine learning techniques on solving software engineering problems.
So continuing with the tradition of giving awards for 2020, so we're very happy to say that the Foundational Contribution Award in 2020 goes to Jonathan Maltek and Michael Collard for their SourceML infrastructure, and they will be giving a talk about their work on Tuesday. The
Rick Holter Career Achievement Award goes to Alberto Bachelli for his seminal contribution to modern code review.
We also have the FOSS Award that's basically presented to papers that have an impact on free and open source software. So this year's paper, this year's FOSS Award goes to the paper by James Weldon, which studied the impact of a major security event on on an open source project, specifically the case of OpenSSL.
We also have, as it is typical for MSR, the most influential paper award. So we have a committee that studies MSR 10 years ago. In that case, that would be MSR 2010. And decide which were the one or two papers that had the most impact on the community, while those 10 years passed. As a honorable mention, we have the study by Gregorio Robles, entitled Replicating MSR, a study of the potential replicability of papers published in MSR proceedings. What Gregorio had done in that study is study previous editions of MSR and try to identify replicability problems. The award goes to Marco D'Ambros, Michele Lanza, and Romain Hobbs for their work and extensive comparison of bug prediction approaches. So Marco, Michele, and Romain will be giving a presentation tomorrow.
Okay, and we also have 3 distinguished paper awards this year. So the first one goes to Yalin Yu, Zhenfeng Lin, and Jane Clown Tang for their work on traceability support for multilingual software projects. The second one goes to Nicholas Gold, Jens Krink for ethical mining, a case study of MSR mining challenges. And the third one goes to Yang Chen, Andrew Santosa, Mengyi Ang, Abhishek Sharma, Asankaya Sharma, and David Lowe. Sorry if I butchered anyone's names, for their work on machine learning, on a machine learning approach for vulnerability curation. So the way we selected the distinguished papers were these were papers that had at least one strong accept, no rejections, and that also based on the discussion. So we actually went through the discussions to see kind of how the reviewers felt about the paper, and that the topic was something that really represented the work done at MSR. And actually one of these papers is in the experience category. So it's part of the technical track, but under the experience category. So this shows that we actually do value contributions from all types of papers that are submitted to the technical track.
We also give awards for the best dataset. This year, it's the award goes to Esteban Parra, Ashley Ellis, and Sonia Haidu for their dataset Gitter.com, a dataset of open source developer communications in Gitter.
So MSR will not be the same without the hard work of all our reviewers. So we want to thank those reviewers who went above and beyond the call of duty and were very active in the discussions, wrote great reviews. So we have Sergey Demeyer, Andre Hora, Nicolas Santelis, Mauricio Anis, Malaknaz Nayapi, Jesus Gonzalez Barahona, Francisco Servant, and Philip Lettner.
Also have a wonderful keynote from Stash at Facebook, and then he will talk about machine learning for developer productivity at Facebook. This is gonna be really, really exciting.
Okay, so let's take a quick look at our program. So we have 2 days, and each day there's 2 parallel tracks. So there's typically paper tracks, and we try to schedule those according to the geographic location of the author. So trying to take time zones into account. And everything that's highlighted is basically plenary sessions that are either the keynote, award talks, or the new Ask Me Anything sessions. And those would be live streamed over YouTube. All the details in terms of time, how to connect, all the YouTube links can be found in our program. We also have a short YouTube video that kind of explains how to read the program, how to connect on Slack, and kind of what to expect. So that's it, and we hope to see you soon. So I guess away from all of us, and see you soon.
So see you there.